Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for watching Denver 7 News. I'm Jason Grenauer. We do want to start with breaking news today. Students at Denver's East High School slowly evacuated from the building today after police entered the building to investigate a potential active shooter. Now, we are awaiting right now a news conference with Denver Public Schools as well as Denver Police. They are just stepping up to the microphone right now as East High School has just been deemed safe. Let's listen in to Denver Police live.
About this large police response that occurred here at East High School. What I can tell you at this moment is that at approximately 1:53, we received a call of an active shooter here at East High School. Specifically, a male caller called in to our police dispatch. I think indicated that they were a teacher and said that there was an active shooting going on here at East Colfax, provided a suspect description, the address of the school, and then quickly hung up. That call was immediately aired. Officers quickly responded. There were officers on scene in less than 2 minutes. Quickly entered the school and began searching and trying to move towards the threat. We were able to immediately also coordinate with Denver Public Schools camera system to get sort of a live feed into the building to identify whether there are any indication of a shooting. There was no indication of a shooting. However, we continued with our full-scale response, which included response by DPD, DPS security, State Patrol, as well as Aurora campus police. We were able to secure the school very quickly and then begin our process of evacuating the students to the football field here at East High School, and then also beginning a systematic search of the entire school for any threats. Ultimately, we did not locate any threats or any individuals that had been injured. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to my partner, DPS Security Chief Mike Eaton.
Thank you, Chief. My name is Mike Eaton. I'm the Chief of the Department of Safety for Denver Public Schools. We, through our partnership with Denver Police, we were notified at approximately 1:54 p.m. of a potential active shooter here at East High School. We do have interoperability on our radio system, so we were able to lock down this school immediately. So at 1:54, this school was locked down by DPS safety and summoned DPS armed officers as well as DPD was coming to support. Want to applaud the students. I want to applaud the East community for their diligence in keeping students safe, for acting on our emergency plans that they've been trained to, and ultimately for a successful outcome here where nobody was injured. And so obviously there'll be more to come, and we will continue to support the East community how best we can. I'd like to turn over to our superintendent, Dr. Alex Moreira.
Okay, so you've just been listening live there as officials speak outside of East High School. Basically, what was just said is that students were ultimately evacuated from the school after a call came in, 1:53 call reporting an active shooter by someone who identified themselves as a teacher. Officers then responded. The school was locked down. Then students were evacuated to the football field, but ultimately Denver police say they did not locate any threats and no one was injured. We do have a crew there on scene, and we'll have the very latest coming up for you on this story coming up on Denver 7 News at 5. But the headline so far right now, after reports of a potential active shooter, no threat was found and no one was injured at East High School this afternoon. We do want to move on to other news today, including this breaking news this afternoon. The Weld County Sheriff's Office is asking for your help in locating this man, Octavio Gonzalez Garcia. They believe he was the driver involved in a fatal hit and run that killed Weld County Deputy Alexis Heinutz. The deputy was riding her motorcycle to work at the time she was killed. Now, the crash happened about 5:30 yesterday near AA Street and Weld County Road 37. Deputy Heinutz was headed south. The white minivan driven by Gonzalez Garcia was going west. Investigators say Gonzalez headed into a nearby cornfield and has not been located. If you recognize him, call 911. It was a day of pageantry and solitude in London today as Queen Elizabeth II was laid to rest. Tens of thousands of people, even Americans, came to say goodbye. Our Chris Conti, who spent time in London in the days immediately after the Queen died, shows us this grand display of remembrance.
To be this loved, to be this revered, to be remembered in this way.
Rest in peace, Your Majesty.
Is to truly comprehend the ways in which Queen Elizabeth II impacted the lives of the people she served. In the immediate days after her death, we watched as people like Carol Byrne went to painstakingly great lengths to pay their respects to the 96-year-old.
I think it's going to take me and other people a lot to get over it. A lot to get over it. A lot to get over it.
Then came today, one final chance to say goodbye. As the true depths of the Queen's loss came into focus inside Westminster Abbey.
O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory?
And the coronation stage is set.
It was here, 70 years ago, that the Queen's coronation was held. She was married here, and this morning, remembered here.
The grief of this day, felt not only by the late Queen's family, but all round the nation, the Commonwealth and the world, arises from her abundant life and loving service, now gone from us.
Dignitaries from across the globe, everyday people, the Queen's family and the new king, all paying their respects to the longest-serving monarch in Britain's history.
We remember her unswerving commitment to a high calling over so many years as Queen and head of the Commonwealth.
What the Queen will likely be remembered for the most, though, was her ability to guide an ancient institution through decades of societal change. And across London Monday, the entire nation paused for 2 minutes of silence. A country, still, even if for just a moment. Then, in the hearse the Queen designed herself, a final procession through the city she loved. Silence gave way to something else. Applause and more flowers, expressions of gratitude. It could be generations before this nation sees another queen, which is why tens of thousands of people made a point today to say goodbye to her. To be this loved, to be this revered, to be remembered in this way, is to truly comprehend the legacy Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth leaves behind. I'm Chris Conti.
Now, the Queen's life was also toasted today here in Colorado. The group Brits in Denver gathered together to watch the funeral and celebrate the life of the woman they all grew up with.
Today is a mournful day, but I think it's a celebratory day for celebrating the Queen's life. 70 years on the throne. She just celebrated her Platinum Jubilee, and today she decided to say, drop the mic, I'm done. And this is our sad farewell to her. But at the same time, we want to applaud and give praise to all the work that she's done as someone who gave her life for duty.
Sylvia says while she mourns the Queen's passing here in Colorado, she is planning to go back to her home country for the coronation of King Charles III. There are serious questions about what led to this raging fire late Saturday night at a sanctioned homeless camp in Denver. The fire burned dozens of tents at 8th and Elati and damaged a neighbor's fence. Fortunately, no one was injured, but the camp was sanctioned and had been celebrated by the Colorado Village Collaborative as safe, while neighbors have argued for months that it wasn't.
They're not good neighbors, and that's kind of the issue we've had this entire time, is that, you know, there's no transparency with what goes on inside this camp. It was extremely scary. I literally thought my house was going to go on fire. It was very, very frightening, and I do feel bad for all of the homeless people that lost all of their stuff, because it's not their fault that they're here.
The encampment was scheduled to be taken down at the end of November after Denver Health, which owns the lot, chose to not to renew the lease of that encampment for a second year. Now, all the residents have been placed in other housing, and it's unclear if the encampment will open again. Well, families displaced from an explosion and fire just over a week ago in Aurora are learning that they are also victims of theft. The explosion happened 9 days ago. Shortly after that, victims reported seeing holes in their doors, and some discovered their belongings had been ransacked or were stolen. Today, some families were able to go back into their apartments and get their stuff so they could move out. We talked to one man who, despite going through all of this, has remained in good spirits.
I would much rather stress about trying to find somewhere to live than planning a funeral. And so for those who are going through it, you know, and are upset and whatnot, just keep our heads up, you know, and be blessed that we have the opportunity to at least figure things out versus it being the complete opposite.
Police in the area tell us that they are trying to keep an eye on that complex to stop further thefts. Those moving out are getting $1,000 to help with their relocation expenses. Well, the Boulder County Coroner's Office has identified the 3 people who died in a mid-air plane collision in Longmont. They are 22-year-old Daniel Wilmoth, 23-year-old Samuel Fisher, and 69-year-old Henry Butler. The area where the planes crashed is still closed off by police tape while the NTSB investigates. A popular park in Boulder County is closing for hunting to take place. Up next on Denver 7 News at 4, the conditions that are leading park officials to take this unique action.
Somehow I stole her heart. She already had mine.
The pandemic brought people together in unexpected ways. See how it helped this love story unfold inside a nursing home.